So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K25 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with another episode of our Trading Every Player rebuild series, and today it's going to be the Sacramento Kings. On paper, the Kings are a pretty good team. Now, they had a pretty rocky start to this 2025 NBA season, but in their last 10 games, they are 9-1. This team has obviously turned a corner, and unfortunately, we're not going to get to use any of this talent here that Sacramento has. Of course, the entire purpose of today's video and this entire series is that before year one kicks off, we trade away everybody who is currently on this Kings roster. Of course, we'll have no say in any of the trades. At no point throughout this video may anybody who's currently a King come back, and the end goal is to win a championship. And as you guys have been so graciously doing pretty much since I started this channel, let me know any other rebuild ideas down below in the comments section. Of course, we are slowly but surely approaching the end of two of the series we are doing right now, that being the Curry era rebuilds and the Trading Every Player rebuilds, which of course we are here doing today. So once those wrap up, of course, I am able to come up with things myself, but I really am interested in what you guys want to see here on this channel. So excited for this one today. Let's get into it. There's not much purpose in sitting here discussing this Kings roster. We touched on it a little bit in the intro, but it was not a great start to this season for the Sacramento Kings, and they are 9-1 now in their last 10 games. So hopefully those overalls are up. Hopefully we get some pretty good value in return for these deals, and I guess let's just get into it. So Domantas Sabonis, 90 overall, 28 years of age. Again, hypothetically speaking, we should get a pretty good player in return. That, of course, is not pretty much always the case in these. So we have 25 offers. Eyes are closed. As you can see, we will randomly scroll through all 25, and we will stop on our trade right now. Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams. Yeah, not great. I mean, honestly, going through most of these, vast majority of them kind of suck, if I'm being straight up honest with you. Zion would have been fun, but yeah, Domantas Sabonis and Keon Ellis for Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams. Yeah, it's disgusting. There's no really nice way to put that. I hate everything about the deal. Now, De'Aaron Fox is going to be up next, 26 years old. We got 25 different offers for him. Hopefully somebody who's just a somewhat star in this league. I'm not getting a superstar, but just somebody who's decent. Stop. Miles Bridges and Seth Curry. Why don't I just go ahead and basically release everybody that's on the team right now, right? Maybe that would be a better idea. All right, that's DeMar DeRozan, who's 35, and yeah, I mean, at this point in his career, he's not, the star he once was, especially in those Toronto days, but he's still a good quality player here at that 86 overall. So, yeah, we're pretty much 0 for 2 on trades. Those both sucked. Stop. 0 for 3. 0 for 3. DeMar DeRozan, Doug McDermott, who I was not actually aware was on the Kings, for Dennis Schroeder and Draymond Green. Not great. I feel like I've gotten that deal from the Warriors a couple different times in the past. Malik Monk, he's going to be up next. And then after Malik, we'll probably start doing these like in twos. Actually, I could probably do Malik. If I do Malik and Murray together, just because, $17.5 million and 8-ish, $9 million, it's not a lot. 12 offers, more than suitable. So, yeah, not great so far. What we're going to do is we're going to stop right now. We're not taking this one. We're going one to the right, if you will. And that lands me Paul George and Gershon Yabusele. Or it would have been another trade with the Warriors. So you know what? As much as I'm very much aware that Paul George is going to regress, I don't love it. It is just something that I'm going to kind of have to be okay with, I guess. Kevin Huerter, we're going to do him and Trey Lyles, now kind of getting into strictly role player territory. And again, hopefully just getting some quality role players because the star power, and I'm using quotes right now on this team, is pretty shitty, to be honest with you. Stop. Josh Green, Grant Williams from the Charlotte Hornets. Welcome to the team. All right, slowly but surely making our way to the end. I think Alex Len. Jay Crowder actually did sign with this team, right? I believe he did anyways. Oh, shit. I skipped right over Seth Curry. All right, we are going to go ahead. Where is Seth Curry before this year? He's in Charlotte. Interesting. All right, let's continue to scroll through this list and stop. Cameron Payne from the New York Knicks. Again, a one-year deal, but it kind of just is what it is. We are going to now switch our attention to Jay Crowder, Jordan McLaughlin, and then I think after this, it should just be Jones and Carter, and of course, we don't do the two-way players, so... yeah, slowly but surely making our way to the end of this. Stop. And it is going to be Omax and Markieff Morris here from the Dallas Mavericks. It has not been a very successful... oh my God, we have so many forwards on this team. That's actually kind of insane. All right, Colby Jones, him and Devin Carter are going to be the final two players we are trading today. Only 6 offers. It's not the end of the world. Hopefully just to get something here that's decent. Stop. Brandon Pajemski and Lindy Waters III from the Golden State Warriors. Oh, boy. All right, man. Well... you see the position we're in right now. It's not great. We are obviously significantly worse than the Sacramento Kings are in real life. And yeah, this is going to be a tough first season. All right, couple things to note. We have finalized the rotation the way I think it's going to work best. I'll talk about the decisions I made in just a second, but I fucked up. I realized that Seth Curry actually came from the Hornets. I thought I maybe made a mistake, and I did. And I would go back and fix it and redo it, but the reality of the situation is that the player we actually got in return in a Seth Curry deal was Cameron Payne, and quite honestly, he's not even in the rotation. So, doesn't affect things. I fucked up. I'm sorry about it. All right, let's talk about this rotation, which is not great. It's pretty shitty. We don't actually have one listed center on this roster, so I moved Gershon Yabusele and Grant Williams to the 5. It's not a perfect fit. It is going to be a one-year kind of plug-and-play situation, but we obviously have the rule in place that after we trade for somebody, we can't make any other trades. So, yeah, here goes nothing. Fred VanVleet, Brandon Pajemski, Paul George, Draymond Green, Gershon Yabusele. Bench unit is okay. I'll give us that. It's going to be Miles Bridges, Dennis Schroeder, Josh Green, Grant Williams, and Lindy Waters III. So, we have some okay depth. Again, we're a relatively small team. I think there is going to be an immediate need at the center position this offseason, and it'll certainly be the first thing we address. Something else to note, which I don't know if this is going to, actually come into play. Our first round pick this year is currently owned by the Atlanta Hawks. Now, it is top 10 protected. I'm not exactly sure what trade that, traces all the way back to. Is it the Kevin Huerter deal? That's kind of the only notable one I can think of off the top of my head. But, yep, this is the position we now find ourselves in, obviously about a million times worse, at least on paper, than the Sacramento Kings actually are. So we have a lot of work to do this offseason, and I'll see you guys at the end of year one. It was no surprise that I was not a real big fan of this team that obviously we really didn't have any say in assembling. There was no doubt about that. I didn't think we were going to be necessarily very good, and to say we were not good would be an understatement. We sucked. We won 17 games, which I feel like that's actually, kind of crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not a good team. There's no denying that. But we have some decent depth. Not a lot of star power, but I feel like any team, even with his age led by Paul George, probably win in more than 17 games. But maybe it's a blessing in disguise, because in all likelihood, we'll get our draft pick back, and we'll go from there. Looking at those numbers from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, yep, that's insane throughout 82 games. You got Jared McCain winning Rookie of the Year. De'Aaron Fox is coming off the bench in Charlotte. I wish I could have him back. That would be nice. You got Wemby winning DPOY. He also wins Most Improved. Anthony Edwards is your Clutch Player of the Year, and Thibs your Coach of the Year over there in New York. So, yeah, 17 wins. I think it is a safe bet that we are not going to be in the playoffs. We had the worst record in the West and the worst record in the league as a whole. Not great. All right, let's talk about some numbers real quick for this team. Paul George was pretty solid, all things considered. Fred VanVleet, Miles Bridges, Gershon Yabusele, Pajemski. I mean, there's not a lot here that excites me, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, again, there's some decent role players and some relative star power, but it's just not even close to enough to being able to be competitive. So, Ant and the Timberwolves going up against Bam and the Miami Heat. Timberwolves get it done. Anthony Edwards, your finals MVP. All right, it is finally time for the offseason, which I am most thankful for. We can pretty much do whatever we want, of course, outside of trading for guys who were Sacramento Kings to start this video. So, we're projected number 1 overall. Maybe we get a little lucky today. Maybe we do not. We do not, because we fall all the way to number 5, as I pretty much always do when I end up with the worst record in the league. Doug Christie's done a pretty good job with the Kings in real life. Unfortunately, today, those ratings are not going to cut it. Is that Shaq? Oh, my God. I was like, holy shit. All right. I think Ime Udoka could make some sense. We'll throw some money at him. Of course, we'll also offer Stauffer, who would not be my first choice because I get him quite often, but he would likely accept, and, of course, would be a nice upgrade here. So, no. Ooh, Will Hardy's also sitting here. All right, hopefully we just get one of these 3 guys. We're going to end up with pretty much just Will Hardy. Probably could get Stauffer too, but why not? Will Hardy, welcome to the team. All right, we approach the 2025 NBA draft. We have the 5th overall pick, and obviously I have a big decision to make. This is a team with, as I've mentioned a bunch of times now, some okay depth. We are going to lose guys in free agency like Schroeder, like Yabusele, like Cameron Payne. Oh, wait, no, Cameron Payne as well. So it is what it is at this point. But we also have to decide what we want to do with that number 5 overall pick. I've decided I'm going to stay at number 5. It's not really an area that I draft super often. It's either, typically in the top 3 or later in the first round, just as like a rolled piece, kind of depth move. But we're going to sit here at number 5. So Ace Bailey, Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, Gordon Mean, all off the board right now. Which means we could go out and get a guy like Trey Johnson if we wanted to. VJ Edgecombe is sitting here. There are certainly some quality players here that I think could be pretty good NBA players. So from a positional need, obviously big man, the center spot is clearly the most important, but I don't really think that makes a lot of sense for me. I think Trey Johnson just has like either a backup 2, he could be a backup 3. I think this one makes some sense for me. I've obviously had some success in the past while drafting him, and I think he's going to be the guy we go ahead and draft. So Trey Johnson, welcome to the team, 6'6" out of Texas. I believe that is actually our only pick. So, yep, 76 overall. Cool with me. Now, I am going to bring back Fred. I don't love the contract, but ultimately letting him go for nothing would be stupid. Of course, we do not qualify the two-way players. I didn't think Gershon would have a qualifying, but he does, according to 2K. So, we're, again, going to likely lose pretty much everybody. I mean, maybe we can bring back Schroeder, but pretty much everybody else that was, expiring is going to be gone. So, now we are certainly going to work our way into the trade department. I'm not fully aware of the reasoning of why the San Antonio Spurs are willing to make a one-for-one swap for Paul George and Stephon Castle. Maybe their reasoning is that Victor Wembanyama is already so good that they can compete for a championship and want win-now players. But I'm very familiar with the progression and the regression system here in 2K. And quite honestly, by the time year 2 kicks off, I wouldn't be surprised if Castle was the same, if not a higher overall than Paul George. So obviously they play different positions. I think from a logistical standpoint, it does make sense to make a move like this. It's going to save us a ton of money, and obviously we are not going to be getting hit hard in the regression department. So I'm super excited to have Castle here. Whether he's playing the 2 or the 3, we will certainly figure it out, but he is a very welcome addition to this group. I certainly promise I will stop making trades for Walker Kessler in future videos, but ultimately today we're pretty limited with the trade assets that we do have with this team, and if Utah wants to be stupid enough to offer me, similar to what San Antonio did, a one-for-one swap for an older player for a younger one, especially a position of need like center, I'm certainly going to take advantage of it. So welcome to the team, Walker Kessler. Ultimately, Draymond is a good player, and I think does obviously impact the game, but here in 2K you don't really feel that impact nearly as much. So I'm excited about having Kessler here. Obviously, center was a really, really big position of need for us. And yep, that is just another trade in the books. Definitely got a few more to go. I'm going to continue with the salary dumps here. I don't know if we're going to have enough money to sign a big free agent. We may not. But ultimately, getting younger players like a Bob Carrington here, I think makes a ton of sense for us with a $45 million salary like Fred VanVleet, who's going to be expiring. On top of that, we do get a draft pick. It's unprotected in 2027, so maybe a valuable trade asset at some point. So, on paper heading into next year, we're probably not better. We're probably worse, and I understand that we're still not going to have our first-round pick, which is totally fine, but I think we put ourselves in a position where we're going to have a lot of flexibility, whether it's this offseason or next offseason, but we also certainly have gotten younger as well. So I'm pretty excited with the moves we've made so far. We still have Miles Bridges on this team, who I'm definitely not a huge fan of, so I'm not going to let him leave for nothing because he is under contract for multiple years, but I would consider a trade if something came up that I really did kind of like. So, ooh, Anthony Black. I like Anthony Black. I don't really know. I don't really love any of these right here. So I'll keep a pin in that, and we are going to try to likely go ahead and sign somebody here in free agency. I mean, we have some money now if we wanted to go out and try to sign, this free agency class, quite honestly, sucks, just to be honest with you. So maybe we'll turn our attention to spending next offseason. We're going to have some money come off the books. We're also going to have to re-sign a guy like Walker Kessler, but we've put ourselves in a pretty good spot just in terms of flexibility, so I am excited about that. So you know what we're going to do? I'm going to intentionally, it's a risky move, I understand. We're going to likely suck, and I think I'm going to do that intentionally. So we're going to move Trey Johnson to the 3. He is going to be starting at the small forward spot for us, because in all honesty, given the draft picks we have tradable, there's not really a perfect way to get this team to the point where we can be competitive enough for a championship next year. So I understand that our first round draft pick very likely will not be ours. Of course, I will double check the protections on it, but I think likely is going to be the situation we find ourselves in, that we'll be doing this once again next offseason, but with a whole lot more flexibility. So I'll keep Bridges for another year. We'll go ahead and probably sign a couple one-year deals here in free agency. I don't really know who'd be interested in a one-year deal. Ooh, Trey Mann's actually sitting here. Ooh, I could throw some money at Lonzo. Like, if I give Lonzo a one-year deal for, I don't know, $13 million, would he accept that? He would. All right, welcome to the team. And then I'll just let Yabusele, Cameron Payne. Actually, Yabusele is qualified. We could just bring him back. That's what I'll do. I'll qualify Yabusele and hold that qualifying offer on him, and then I'll likely bring him back on a multi-year deal, and we'll go from there. So, welcome to the team, Lonzo Ball. Again, going to be a one-year fit. And then is Yabusele going to be... Do I have enough money for him, hypothetically? I do. All right, going to be... We'll do 2 years for him, and we'll do roughly $13.5 million annually. That work for you? Maybe? It does. All right, so I'll just slide Grant Williams back to the backup 4, and he'll be ending up playing behind Miles Bridges, and I'll just see you guys at the start of year number 2. We are taking a very, very risky strategy right now. tanking for 2 seasons is not necessarily the best thing to do in a 3-year rebuild. I fully understand that. But I think we're going to have, as I've mentioned now a couple times, a ton of financial flexibility this offseason, which maybe means a big blockbuster free agent would be willing to come our way. Now, I have gone ahead and I have finalized this 10-man rotation. It is going to be Bub Carrington, Stephon Castle, Trey Johnson, Miles Bridges, and Walker Kessler. Bench unit will be led by Brandon Pajemski, Gershon Yabusele, Lonzo Ball, Josh Green, and Grant Williams. It feels kind of similar to last year, right? I know we don't have like a Paul George or a Draymond Green. We don't have established NBA players, but in terms of the depth that we have, I think it obviously makes somewhat similar comparisons to last season. And of course, we obviously are saving quite a bit of money as well. So something else to note, I did check. Our first round pick this year is technically top 10 protected. If it is in the top 10, I'm going to take it back. I do it the other way. When I'm not supposed to have a pick, I give it up. I'm going to take it back when it benefits me as well. So, yep, I'm not sure if we're going to be top 10 bad or bottom 10 bad, really, but we will find out together. Of course, new head coach here with Will Hardy as well. And I'll just see you guys at the end of your number 2. I have good news and I have bad news. Let's start with the good news. The season's over. The season's over. That is the good news. Bad news is we were somehow worse than last year, which I guess, on paper kind of makes some sense. Paul George was aging, but he was still a star. And, we won 14 games this year. I don't know. I really hope that everything kind of in my head is going to go according to plan, because if it will, and if it does, we'll basically be doing a worst to first rebuild. Of course, that's not what this is, but you get the point. SGA wins 2 straight MVPs. Cooper Flagg's the Rookie of the Year. De'Aaron Fox is now in Indiana. We traded him to Charlotte, I believe, and he has now made his way over to the Pacers. Still coming off the bench, though. Wemby wins another DPOY. Scoot Henderson, most improved, who, by the way, has been fantastic lately. I feel like not enough people have been talking about how good Scoot Henderson's been. Jokic wins Clutch Player of the Year, and 60 wins there in Dallas gives Jason Kidd his first Coach of the Year of this video. Safe bet that we are going to be likely the worst team in the league. We were, and I don't really know. I think we have some talent. It's just everybody's super young, and I don't really know if this team fits together like perfectly on paper, but we'll sort that out as we approach the offseason. The rebounding department is Kessler, and assists is going to be Bub Carrington. So not often in these 3-year rebuilds, especially these trading every player rebuilds, that I do not make the playoffs for the first 2 seasons. It just does not happen. But here today, we are going out with an exception, and we are going to hope that we can get a championship and turn this thing around in one offseason. All right, player retirements, you can see right there. Wow, did Draymond retire? All right. Oh, and Paul George. Oh, no, Draymond didn't retire. I thought I saw Draymond. Oh, no, he did. I didn't make that up. I guess I'm very happy that I traded Paul George and Draymond Green when I did, because, I'd basically be losing them for nothing at this point, and I would have the cap space, but I wouldn't have the young talent that this team does have. So I'm going to take my pick back. It is top 10 protected. I checked Fanspo. It's accurate. As I mentioned, I kind of give them up when I'm not supposed to have them. I'm going to take them back when I am supposed to have them. So it falls to 5 again. Anybody surprised about that shit? I'm not. Will Hardy, again, really shitty season. If there's somebody here that, I don't know, would I take anybody here? Like, it's pretty much just one of these 3. I don't know. It's not, I'm not saying Will Hardy's at fault. It's similar to Doug Christie. He wasn't at fault. It's just kind of looking for somebody new. And if I don't get one of these 3, I'm pretty much screwed. Okay, I'm screwed. That is kind of why I wanted to hang on, because I thought there was a possibility that was going to happen, but it's kind of hard to argue to hang on to your head coach. Taylor Jenkins is sitting here. When you win 13 or 14 games, whatever the fuck it was. So I'm cooked. I cannot get anybody. Not Billy Dunn. Just give me Will Hardy back. If I can get Will Hardy back, just pretend none of this happened. Pretend I gave him a 1-year extension. Cool. All right, let's approach the 2026 draft. I'm going to get my pick back, and then we'll go from there. We're making a trade here with the New York Knicks. We are moving up 3 spots in the draft. We're sending out Miles Bridges and Josh Green, and in return, we're getting number 2 overall, along with OG Anunoby. So let me explain to you my thought process. We're going to put through this trade, and my thought process, first and foremost, is that I don't want the contract of OG Anunoby on the books. He's a good player. There's no denying that. But here in 2K, I'm not comparing him to Draymond Green, but kind of a similar thing. His impact isn't really felt, and he's making money that certainly will be felt when it's time to spend in free agency. So I'm not just going to trade him for nothing. We will certainly address that, but I do want to go ahead. Oh, they take AJ Debinsta. Not that that's a bad pick, but I think Cameron Boozer is going to be my guy. I see him win tons of Rookie of the Years. Welcome to the team. We also have the first overall pick in round 2, which maybe we can get somebody. I don't really know anybody here. Fred Hardy, Chuck Samuels, Joe Smith. These all feel like they're kind of made-up names. I'll just take Fred Hardy. He's the highest-rated player. I don't know. Now we're going to consider some big free agents. Boozer's going to be an 80. Hardy's going to be a 70. Team player options, Castle and Pajemski both will certainly be brought back. Walker Kessler will be a restricted free agent. And this is kind of the reason, because this free agency class is just unbelievably, unequivocally better than the one we were dealing with before. Obviously, a couple of these guys are restricted, but I'm going to go ahead and make some offers here. I just got to clear up some space. So it does likely mean that we're going to have to get rid of OG Anunoby, who, again, I think is a good player. We just know he is making quite a bit of money right now. And yeah, this is risky. This is one mistake could fuck everything up. So I got to choose wisely about the move that I am going to make. Nolan Traore sitting here could be a potential backup point guard option for me. Saves me quite a bit of cash as well. Ooh, Ryan Dunn's sitting here, but I don't want to give up draft picks. Nikola Topic is sitting there as well. I think I'm going to take Nolan Traore. Not a player I've ever really traded for in the past, and again, going to save me quite a bit of money. So, yeah, Owen Oakley, not really needed. Thank you very much, Chicago. And I have money to offer Luka now. Again, probably not a God's chance in hell he's going to accept our offer, but we're going to put it out there. I'm also going to throw some cash here at Trae Young because, you know what, Trae Young's a pretty damn good player. Would be fun to throw some money at De'Aaron Fox, but it's just probably not going to happen. And, you know, from a positional standpoint, I'd say we're good at shooting guard. I'm going to likely start Boozer. Could maybe go out and try to offer a center, but I don't know. I'm just going to kind of hope and pray that maybe Luka Doncic or Trae Young accepts my offer. Or De'Aaron Fox, but it's just not possible. I think those are probably the two that I'm most focused on. KD has a one-year offer from the Suns, so I could likely lend him as well, but he'll probably be like just another backup option just in case. So let's see. I did not see that happening. I did not think that Luka Doncic was going to be willing to sign with us, but he is, which means we obviously have a face of the franchise, and I don't have to renounce Walker Kessler. Let me just double check that. Yeah, I do not. Wow, that's absolutely huge. KD goes back to the Suns. Insane. Insane, insane, insane. Obviously got to make sure Kessler doesn't accept another offer right now. We're good. Don't renounce him. Accept Luka. And holy shit, my friends. Holy shit. The unfortunate thing about having a lot of guys on rookie contracts is that we're pretty limited in the players that we are actually able to trade for. Now, I don't want to sit here and tell you that RJ Barrett's, you know, a bad player. He is 1,000% not. But he's making cheap money. He's making under $30 million annually. As crazy as that sounds, that's pretty cheap for a guy who's as good as him. So he's one of the players we could realistically add to this team, which I think is something that I definitely need to work on. Just adding more established players that are obviously, you know, stars at this point in time. And I think, again, adding a guy like him would certainly be well worth it if we were able to get it done. So I'm offering up a couple draft picks here. I have some picks that I obviously can't take with me. So at this point, Luka and Bub Carrington, Castle, Podziemski, it's going to be Barrett now starting ahead of Johnson. Do want to establish a power forward behind Cameron Boozer, or just I can move Gershon back to the 4 and just see who we have money for here in free agency. So honestly, Zach Collins, not a terrible option. I'd be cool with it. Cool, welcome to the team. Gershon will move back to the 4, and yeah, it's about as risky as it gets, you know, for a final season, but I'm just hoping and praying that we see a lot of development out of our younger guys, and of course, Luka Doncic continues to be the superstar he is and hopefully carry us to a championship. So I still can't believe he signed with us. I really can't. I'll just see you guys at the start of year 3. It's crazy how in just one offseason a team can go from looking like absolute trash to probably a championship contender. And I use that term probably because, of course, you never know how these things can go. I think we're going to be really good, and I hope 2K agrees with me. So here's how the final rotation will look for year 3. Luka, who I still, you know, am kind of blown away, was willing to leave Dallas and join a team that won 14 games, but he was. Stephon Castle, who's developing quite nicely at the 2, of course, made the move for RJ Barrett, drafted Cameron Boozer, and of course brought back Walker Kessler. Bench unit's also by far the best it's ever been. With Trey Johnson as my 6th man here, you got Bob Carrington moving to the bench, Brandon Podziemski, Gershon Yabusele, and finally Zach Collins. So yeah, it's not often that rebuilds go like this. This is not necessarily how I planned or anticipated this one was going to go, but life threw a curveball at me, man. Let's adjust and hit this one out of the park. That was cheesy as fuck. I'll see you guys at the end of year 3. You know, I would say it was easily our best season yet, which, don't get me wrong, it 1,000% was, but if we had somehow not won more than, I think, 18 games is what we won in year 1, it'd be a pretty shitty rebuild now, wouldn't it? Final record's going to be 62-20. Of course, you can see our guy Luka Doncic, who decided to join us in the offseason, made a leap of faith, and it's paying off so far for him and our team. Yeah, he's insane. He's your MVP. Cameron Boozer also wins Rookie of the Year. Things are going my way so far. Josh Giddey, he's your 6th man. Wemby wins 3rd straight D-Boy. Cam Whitmore, most improved. Booker, your clutch player of the year. And Mark Daigneault. So we don't have coach of the year, really? That kind of feels a little disrespectful, but it's fine. It is what it is. Here is a look. Oh, wow, we had the best record in the league. Awesome. Let's go over some numbers real quick for this group. Luka, RJ Barrett, Cameron Boozer, Johnson, Castle, Kessler, Pajemski, Carrington, Collins, and then Yabusele. Rebounds is going to be led by Walker Kessler. And yeah, Luka Doncic led us in the assist department. Okay, round one here is going to be us and the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry, Ayo Dosunmu now here. Wiggins, Kuminga, TJD. Steph's still amazing. I think we're clearly a better team, though, and although we might be inexperienced, and we can handle them. Now we're moving on to the Timberwolves. We've seen Anthony Edwards win the Finals MVP already in this video. He is obviously unbelievably good, and him and Luka are certainly going to be going at it here in the Western Conference semifinals. We are up 2-1 right now. They tie it up at 2-2. We go up 3-2. Going to Game 7, we win Game 7. And it is now us and the Houston Rockets, who, yep, have an old friend here in Domantas Sabonis. This team has some... How the fuck is Derek White here? Has some absolutely out... I mean, what is that? 10 or 11 80-plus overalls? That is really, really scary. And we're up 3-0 on them, though. I mean, okay. Now on to the NBA Finals. We are taking on Scotty Barnes and the Toronto Raptors. I'm, again, a little surprised to hear just after we traded for RJ Barrett. But, yep, I know I've said it before. I've faced the Raptors many times, and I have lost when I didn't think I was going to, so I'm not going to take them lightly. We're up 2-1 right now. They tie it at 2-2. We go down 3-2. Going to Game 7. I have to win this game. I have to win this game. We are on our home floor. There is, again, on paper, no reason we should be losing to this team, respectfully. There's just no way. There's absolutely no way. I'll see you in there. Just over 2 minutes to go. We are up by 9 here in Game 7. Assuming I don't do anything too stupid, we should be okay. Again, that is a should be okay kind of thing. I was looking for an off-ball shooter. That, of course, did not happen. But Luke is just going to get right to the rack, and he throws it down. And we go up by 11. Wow, it is not often you see Luka Doncic getting up and slamming one down, but does it for me right there. All right, I will try to play on-ball defense against an old friend here, Nolan Traore. Of course, we included him in the deal that landed us RJ Barrett. And Nolan's going to go to the rack. A little bit of revenge? Nope, didn't think so. All right, Luka here. Oh, Trey Johnson. All right, give me a little screen here. Come on, Walker. A little screen here. Luka, a little mid-range jumper. That's going to be green, and Luka's up to 20 on the night on a closeout game for us on our home floor. They still don't have Scotty Barnes in the game, so I'm going to do my best not to foul and not let them get their best player in, because for whatever reason, they were leaving him on the bench. Whether intentional or not, it is pretty stupid. We're pretty much got this one in the books. I think it's pretty safe to say this one's going to be over. We're going to... I did not shoot... I swear to God, I didn't shoot that. Right in their face. Right in their face. Oh, I thought Luka was going to be able to drill that. All right. Again, the math is very much on my side here. This one is certainly all but over. They're going to get a quick layup to go, and it's only an 11-point game. But still, again, mathematically, it's pretty much done right now. So we'll do one more offensive possession. Whether this goes in or not, this is going to be it. And Luka going to go right up to the rack and can't get the lay-in. Good night. We took a really big risk in this video. We intentionally tanked for 2 seasons. It's not a move that I do very often for a reason. It's because it puts so much pressure into that final offseason. But of course, we were able to overcome that, achieve our goal, and Luka Doncic won a Finals MVP for us. So exciting video. Exciting video. I did not know how this one was going to pan out after all those really just terrible and disastrous trades that we started out this video with. I mean, again, of course, I have no say in those moves, so it's not like I did anything wrong in that aspect. But man, oh man, it makes me nervous seeing stuff like that because I know how much more challenging the video is going to be. But of course, this one turned out to be a big success anyway. So I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know any other video ideas down below in the comment section. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.